Hi, it's Scott. My friend Cheryl is a speaker, an author, and a successful high-performance expert. She works with companies, schools, and all kinds of people to help them turn their lives around. When we met about 25 years ago, she was working as an actress and a model. It didn't surprise me that she'd become a writer, because she always told such great stories. But there was one story I didn't hear until years later. It was the one she wasn't really ready to tell, but the one that put her on a path to truly transforming her life and the lives of thousands of others.
I grew up in a horse ranch in Colorado, and it was so completely remote that there were no buildings in sight. There were nothing, no people, nothing but mountains and meadows and hills and forest and nothing. And it had been the most glorious place in the world when I was a kid, and then it became a prison. When it seemed like that when I was a teenager, and I had to get out. And I got a glamour magazine or something, you know, and they were talking about models in the magazines and how they were always looking for them. And I suddenly was like, oh, light bulb, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I recruited my best friend to go with me, and I was like, we just have to go someplace where they need models. I guess Europe. We get on the plane, go to Europe, saved up all of our money, we bought Eurail passes, the whole nine. And we get to France, and this man walks up, and he's got a camera around his neck, and he asks me if I'm a model. And he tells me he can make me one if I go off with him, and his friend's standing over there. And my friend that I went with was like, no way, that guy gives me the creeps. And I have to admit, he gave me the creeps too, but I thought, I'm just gonna go, I'll figure it out. I'm a smart girl. It turns out that was like the most unsmart move ever. They drugged me and took me to an abandoned construction site and held me for days and beat me mercilessly and raped me repeatedly and finally dumped me in a park in Nice 3 days later. And understandably, it becomes, you know, we each deal with things in life where it's like, how do you survive at this point? What do you do? And I realized the only way I was going to survive is if I never, ever, ever told anyone. Like, I just pretended it didn't happen to myself, even. I'd been leading seminars for maybe 8, 9, 10 years. I don't even know how long. Even though my own journey was the impetus for doing that, I'd never told my story. There was one day a woman was in one of my seminars, and I was talking about forgiveness and the difference that it makes, the profound difference that forgiveness can make. And she stood up and she's like raising her hand like, no, no, no. And she said certain things can't be forgiven, and I disagreed. But I was saying, I'm not talking about forgiveness for them. I'm talking about forgiveness for you as an access to set you free. And it was just a hypothetical. I was gonna like lose the room in this moment, and I thought, I have to tell my story. It makes no difference if I've gone through this and transformed it, but never share it. My having gone through that then means nothing if I don't give it away. And so I stopped and I told the story, and I was so embarrassed at first because I was feeling like the teenager, you know, I was 18 years old. And I just told my story. And you could hear a pin drop in the room, but more importantly, the woman just burst into tears and saw for herself that she could in fact forgive anything. And it was an act of grace upon her. One of the ways I know that people hold things inside is, you know, we're all the same. I did that forever. But I see as I work with more and more people that there's a commonality to that, to wanting to portray ourselves in the best possible light and not sharing or showing the things that we think are bad about us, the things that we would think would make other people judge us. And the truth is, it really is the thing that has other people fall in love with us and fall in love with themselves and have the immense space for themselves to just be. And if we could all authentically share who we are and have the space to just be and start from there, what would be possible?